Now I will bring this one up because it was from our Twitter, which you should be following if you're not already. At official CT Pod, the boys are grinding, and our Instagram. If you have Instagram,
Right
follow
above.
that. At official CT Pod, it's all above. Yep, yeah, I totally forget that. Man, it's close.
Lock in, Iafrate.
Here we go though. Philadelphia. Speaking of the NFC teams, Philadelphia Eagles All-Pro edge rusher Haason Reddick has received permission to seek a trade. Could you imagine Reddick on the opposite side of Aiden Hutchinson?
Woo.
And
AJ Brown's a problem because he's requesting a trade out of Philly. He's the problem.
Oh, here we go.
We had that conversation today, and we've agreed. We
agreed.
We came to an agreement.
It's a safe word.
We came to an agreement.
All right. But in terms of Haason Reddick, a couple things that go into it. One, we've had the discussion, should the Lions, fuck them draft picks, to quote, and maybe be aggressive trying to acquire somebody. But then two, here's the kicker. He needs a new deal.
Well, here's the thing.
He
doesn't need a new deal. He's on a 1-year deal right now. You trade. He's got 1 year, 1 year, $14 million. Well, I'm not saying like a lot of people are saying that. He's on a 1 year, $14 million deal. A player like that on a $14 million for 1 year, does that not sound like a Brad Holmes deal to you? Yeah, and I'm not trying to be like, let's make it happen. But they just traded DeAndre Swift to the Eagles last offseason. Howie Roseman and Brad Holmes, they have a connection. Yeah. Now, do I think the Eagles will be dumb enough to send Haason Reddick to Brad Holmes and the Lions? Absolutely not, because Howie Roseman, he knows how that game rolls. When you add a star, it changes the team. He's done it himself many times. But if Howie Roseman, for some reason, is listening to calls, I think Brad Holmes is definitely going to pick up the phone, because I don't think the Lions will give him a new deal. The thing is, will he then kind of be like, I'm holding out until you give me a new deal? I think there's a lot of questions to come from it, but just off the base contract and the player that he is, I think the Lions should be interested. I think they will have some realistic interest as well. I don't think it's just a smokescreen.
The only thing the reason I would say no, it doesn't happen is I just don't know how comfortable Brad is with giving up draft capital. And I don't know what I feel like it would take a lot or some, like, a good amount to get Haason Reddick. I just don't know. We haven't seen that. That's one of the things as well we talk about all the time. We haven't seen Brad like step up and make like a big trade like that, or like bring someone in and use draft capital to bring him in. Like we've seen him move up in drafts. We've seen that. We just haven't seen him kind of go out there and get a guy like Reddick. Like I don't know. It's weird to me. I would actually, to be honest, I would be shocked if he did it, because he, like, his draft capital is like what he loves, and I think that's very well known. So I just don't see him doing it. But I mean, I would love it. It depends what we would give up, because I like Brad to have those picks. But
it'd be like a third, if I would assume.
I wouldn't hate it.
I would do it for
obviously for the player he is, but like Booner said, I don't think he's going to trade away draft capital for like an uncertain contract. Like obviously he's going to have to go in and re-sign him. Like if it was a guy that's already locked down at like a favorable price, he might go out and do it. But like after you get your 1 year with him, who knows what he's going to be asking for and all of that. So I just don't think so. I think Brad Holmes isn't going to give away his draft picks. That's how he's always said he's going to keep building through the draft. So I hope he signs a player like Haason Reddick, but I just don't think he goes out and trades for him.
Well, I'll be on the side of I'm all for it. And I want to read this comment. It says, Jonathan asks, Jeff passed on him, sign Josh Allen for agency. It'll give Hutch some help. He's supposed to get about $24 million, guys. Like
a lot of money, man.
That's where I'm going. Like Brad Holmes said to your guys' face, our plan is to sign and draft our own. Now, no championship team has just been built on draft. Like, obviously, you have to acquire guys and sign guys through free agency.
Eventually.
Like that. Yeah, of course. Like, you just have to do that eventually. I mean, it's just how it works. But Haason Reddick, 1 more year on his contract. That's the part of it I'm intrigued about. You trade for him. You could negotiate. Now, the whole thing is, will Philadelphia give the Detroit Lions Haason Reddick? That's the only thing I'm working against, which is fair. Like, I don't know. I don't even know if they would. But if he's on the table, yes, please. You need a proven. He has 50 sacks in the last 4 years.
Yeah, I think he had 11 this year or something.
That's not just like, I mean, I get that. And people say, well, he's a poor run defender. Oh, well, good thing he's joining the best run defense.
They have the top 2 run defense. They don't need more help in the run game.
Well, but he's also joining, I don't know, a top 2 run defense here in Detroit. So to have Haason Reddick, playoff experience, a veteran. He's 29 years old. He's still got good years left in him. He's got one more deal left on his contract. You trade for him. You let him play the entire year. And if you don't want to re-sign him, let him walk. You get a guy that has had 50 sacks in the last 4 seasons on a 1-year deal. I don't think he'd be super expensive. I don't know, to come help a Super Bowl chase.
So,
if you're a Lions fan and you think this team can win the Super Bowl, go get Haason Reddick.
Real quick, Booner, just because it'll be short. He's plain and simple. If you go and get Haason Reddick, he is the cheapest he's not an all-pro, but cheapest option as far as an elite pass rusher. Danielle Hunter, $25 million. Josh Allen, Brian Burns, all those
Brad's
guys.
Not doing that.
You're paying $14 million for a guy who has more production than all of those guys over the past 4 seasons. Now, I understand he's in Philly with a lot of good players, but he's going to be with a lot of good players in Detroit as well.
All right, so this is where I'm at with this, and I get your guys' points. Like I do agree. Like 14 million, if you can get like a 3rd round, maybe like a 3rd next year or something like that, give it to Philly for it. I would be down for it. I do, but this is exactly what it feels like to me. Do you guys remember the trade deadline when everyone's go get Montez for a 3rd round, go get this? Like, oh, Montez is only on a 1-year deal, this, that. It feels like that situation to where, hey, the name's awesome, the production's awesome. It feels really, really good. But we know how Brad Holmes is. We know what he is. And I don't want you, Jeff and Lucas, I don't want you guys, as a friend, I'm going to be a friend here. I don't want you to get all hyped up like, oh, Haason Reddick. Like, no, I get where you're coming from. This is kind of the conversation that I had with the heavies when the trade deadline came around. Is I get it. But, Jeff, to your point, if you want to win a Super Bowl, you have to bring in players. But guess what? You just had a 17-point lead in the NFC Championship game with your own draft picks. Now, I get that. But
David Montgomery.
I get that. You made plays. But at the end of the day, he is going to go out in the free agent. He has a lot of money to spend. Even after he extends some guys, he's going to spend money in free agency. Now, I'm with you guys 100% that the $14 million is very cheap for a guy that produces. That is great. So I would love for him to do that. I don't want everyone here in the chat and everyone to be like, get your hopes up, like, oh, Haason Reddick, like this, because it's the same thing as the Montez Sweat thing, in my opinion. Like, he might not make the move because Brad does what he has a system. And Jeff, I'm not trying to say you're wrong, but what I'm saying is, if Brad goes out there and drafts again and bring some more mid players or some average players in, I think you could still go win a Super Bowl like that. I don't think you have to chase after Haason Reddick to do it. You just were in the NFC Championship game without doing that. So I get your point a little bit. It's just on the side to where, hey, he has the last 3 years, he has proven that you don't need to go make big splashes to be in those positions, and it's only going to get better and better. Now, if he did that, I would love that. I would love that.
I get what you're saying.
Hold on, just to address.
I'm just trying to think a little logically with Brad here because it's been so hard. It's hard to read him, man.
But instead of trying to read him, which is true, like I want to read him, I'm giving my thoughts on what I think Brad should start doing if you're in an era now, right? If you're a legitimate Super Bowl contender, you have to, and it's not all about trading. Like, you can go sign guys, and it worked for him last year. They made some pretty good signings. Cam Sutton, I mean, it is what it is. I think he'll rebound next year. But like, now you're in a new territory. This is unfamiliar territory for Brad. Like, you're a legit Super Bowl contender. I see what you're saying about the trade deadline, but if that was this year, Booner, I'd be furious if they needed help and they didn't get it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Now you're a Super Bowl contender. Like, that's what you do. And you have a guy who's under contract for a year, making $14 million. That sounds, I could argue, like a Brad move. You're not spending 20 plus on Danielle. You're not spending 20 plus on Josh Allen. You're not spending 20 plus on Justin Matabuke. That does not sound like Brad Holmes.
Jeff,
to go spend 20 plus million for 4 years to lock up a guy and potentially lose one of your foundational players you want to extend? Like, that doesn't sound like Brad. This deal sounds like Brad. Like, a 1-year deal, you get him, he comes help you for a year. If it doesn't work out, cool. We chase the Super Bowl, we'll go replace him.
Disagree completely. I think signing a guy for $14 million besides trading for him that he has a contract, because
signing a max contract sounds more.
I'm not saying signing a max contract. I'm saying like a David Montgomery, like an average player at that position. Because hear me out real quick. You have to give up a second or a third for. No, seriously, no. Think about this. You have to give up a second or a third.
I was saying the average in David Montgomery part. I was like,
well, I mean, he has $7 million, $6 million. Like, that's That's average.
I thought you were saying the player, like he's average.
No.
he's
I'm saying is bringing in good players on average deals. Now, doing that with Reddick, you have to give up a second or a third or whatever it is, whatever we agree on. But guess what, Jeff? Guess what? Brad Holmes the last 2 years in the second and third round, he's gone out and got guys that are foundational pieces for the next 4 or 5 seasons. So if you think he's going to give up a 4 to 5 year foundational piece compared to just a 1 year deal.
Guys.
You do, but you keep adding those and building your team.
And
you're not going to You bring up the second round picks this year. Go back. Levi, Josh Pascal,
Brian Branch, Sam Laporta.
But you're just going off that draft.
But I'm just saying, like, you're giving up that opportunity to go out and get a guy that can be a piece on your team for the next 4 years.
But I get a proven guy that's had 50 sacks in 4 years.
But you only get him for 1 year when you're trying to build long-term success.
Let me ask you this, Booner. Let me ask you this.
Do you want long-term success or do you want 1 year? Because
let me ask you this, Booner. Because if we want to be specific about it, the Lions have 2 third-round picks. So would you be willing to sacrifice one of those third-round picks for a guy that can help you chase now? And you can still invest in a guy in the third round where Brad does hit a lot. I mean, he's got Iffy, he's got Hendon, who you can say what you want about, and he's got Kirby Joseph. So he still has that pick in his pocket. So if he's like a third round pick and then a 5th or a 6th or whatever, I think that's a smart option. I think it's something that having that third round pick in his pocket now, they've come out and said numerous times, like, this is the year. We're not building with 2024, like that's the year. So I'm not guaranteeing it's going to happen, but I think if there was a year that it would happen, it would be this year, and it makes the most sense, and it's a smart move. I'm not guaranteeing it, but it's a move that I think at this point Brad should make.
Again, I don't know. Before we keep arguing, I'm going to say this. I do agree. Like, if he did that move, I would love it. Like, I'm with you on that. Like, that would be awesome. We're on the same page. What I'm saying, though, and what kind of I think Gentry's on the same page with me is just like, I don't see Brad doing it because of that fact. That's what I'm trying to say. I just don't see him doing it because of that.
Okay, and I love Brad. Like, Brad's like he is like
he's done this for the last 3 years. I don't see him changing.
I do, actually, because now you're in a Super Bowl window. Like, you got to change.
Yeah, but he just literally came out 2 weeks ago and said he's not going to do that.
You guys actually believe that you're going to win a Super Bowl just by drafting? Like, you have to add, man.
They were 17 points away from going to the Super Bowl.
They added David Montgomery.
I still think they'll still add, but like I think he's going to keep his assets and then sign someone.
You did not trade for David Montgomery too. You signed David
Montgomery. But he's going to trade for a contract that's expiring after this year, and he gets nothing from that. Or he can pick one of his own guys from an already kind of stacked free agent pool and kind of keep building at his own. It's not that he's not going to go out and get the guy. And I wouldn't, just for the record, I would not mind the trade in the third for him, but I just don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to pick from his own player pool or his own player pool and then keep his picks.
I would love for him to get his Reddick. That would be
Jeff's point. If the Lions want to stay where they're at, it's not like they have to keep doing what they're doing. They reached a point. Now, okay, for one, if we want to be real, you're probably not going to play another Buccaneers in the second round. Their schedule next year is already much tougher than it was this year. The Lions have to keep getting better, and part of that is Brad does. So to Jeff's point, which I agree with, if you want to go win that Super Bowl, you look around the NFL and teams that win Super Bowl. At some point, they go get a monumental trade. It's just how it does. A monumental trade, a monumental signing, they do. The Kansas City Chiefs with Tyrann Mathieu. You can look. They've been dominating. So look at the other teams. The Eagles, A.J. Brown, Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams.
I don't think you're arguing this.
Jalen Ramsey, Matthew Stafford. So we're not saying he's going to do it or not. What we're saying is for the line, at least me and Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong. If the Lions want to take that next step, Brad has to start doing these type of things, in our opinion.
And real quick, this isn't about like what I think, Brad. This is my opinion. I'm sharing my opinion. I want Booner, your opinion. Do you think Brad should do this? Not like I don't give it. If Brad doesn't and he does it, let's just say people want free agency additions, right? Tell me who you're getting.
Are you asking?
Yeah.
We just did this the other week.
Danielle Hunter? No.
Jeff,
Matabuke? No.
I think we're on
Josh
the same.
Allen?
I think we agree with each other.
Who are the premier edge? Chase Young? Everyone hates him.
Booner, he doesn't want you to say like what Brad will do. Like, what do you think Brad should do? That's what he's saying.
Say it. Do you think he should?
That makes sense.
That's what I want.
I don't think to be honest, Brad's not going to do that move.
It's not about what Brad's going to do.
And I don't think he should. No, don't do it.
Okay, so you don't think he should?
I wouldn't mind if he did it. Like, I'm not going to be mad. I'm like, we just got Haason Reddick. But I just think like I'm at the point to where like you guys could say you have to make these moves, but if you're just looking at long-term success and you're building a team, and I get at some point he's going like that Jeff, don't do that to me. At some point he's going to make one of those moves. At some point he's going to sign a.
You're over here. You're over here. Like, which side is? What are you saying?
Buddy, guess what? I'm not over here. I literally,
you are now.
I literally just said I don't want him to do it. Stop with the, like, no. I literally just told you I don't want him to do it.
Tell me, Booner. Tell me
what I just told you.
No,
what do you want me? No wonder Flannel always yelled at you. Like, I'm telling you, and you're not listening. Clean your ears out like you tell everyone to do, buddy.
Tell me. So this offseason, right? No,
I literally just said I don't want him to go after Haason Reddick.
Hold on. Let me ask the question. Screw Haason Reddick.
I don't know how else to answer it, dude.
No. Screw Haason Reddick.
I just don't want to give up picks.
No.
That's it.
Hold on. Stay with me, Boone. Screw Haason Reddick. We don't even need him. What better options present themselves for a 1 year?
We just went over last week. We talked about defensive ends in free agency. There's a class out there. Those guys. Yes, you might have to spend. You might have to do it.
Oh,
but guess what? I'd rather bring a guy in for 4 or 5 years. I don't have the list in front of me.
No, I get what you're saying.
I'll help you.
Yeah. Jeff, you want me to break this down now?
I
would take Daniil Hunter.
$20+ million for 4 years. You can have him.
Give him to me.
So okay.
I hate doing this.
You want to keep Panay? You want to keep Amon-Ra? You want to stick around with Jared Goff? I don't know. Would you like to extend Taylor Decker? He's due next year. We can do this all day, boys. Like,
oh yeah, you can. You just don't let anyone have their points. Go ahead.
He let you talk, Booner. Don't say that. He let you talk. Don't say that now.
At some point, you're gonna, like, to your point, Jeff. Like, oh, you bring a guy in next year. Guess what? You're gonna have to go inside. You're gonna have to bring a big free agent in or make a big trade at some point. Lucas literally just said that. What are you bringing in Haason Reddick for 1 year, and then what do you do after that? You need to go out and make it.
He helps you for a year.
And then what do you do after that?
I don't know. Brad Holmes. He'll figure it out. Haason will help the playoffs.
This is where you have no plan after next year. You have no plan after next year. You have no plan after next year.
But Booner, you have you know that the whole time because he's on a 1 year deal.
That's why you don't do it.
So they should have signed CJ Gardner-Johnson. It's for 1 year. They should have never signed him.
He didn't give up any picks for him.
You're right. They should have never signed him.
Open your ears. He's not giving
They have picks, Booner.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Why would you give him up for a guy for 1 year, 14?
How many picks? Like they're giving away all 7 rounds. They're giving away like
Jalen Ramsey with the Rams, man.
Come on.
Gentry, bro, if you want to help me here, Jeff just keeps like saying the same thing and he makes no sense.
Oh, I'm making sense.
No, you're not.
I'm making sense. Yes,
you're not.
I don't know what you actually believe, to be honest with you. Like, I don't. So you don't want him to, but also you can see him kind of doing it.
Stop trying to say I'm playing both sides, dude. I literally just said I don't want him to do the deal. Stop with that. You're trying to write a narrative. No wonder Flannel always gets mad at you trying to write a narrative when I'm literally giving you the answer. I literally said I don't want him to do it. I gave you the answer. Do you want me to say any more clear? I do not. No. This is exactly why Flannel would get mad at you. I do not want him to do it. Do you want me to? I do not want him to do it, Jeff. Jeez, no wonder Flannel used to have panic attacks on this show.
All right, mock draft time.